Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I am a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet. So if that interests you, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and then of course hit that notification bell to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. Today, my friends, I have some new yarns to share with you guys from Michaels. I have some project updates regarding my crochet along to share with you. And finally, Happy Mail. But before we get into any of that, let's talk coffee. So, my favorite drink, my drink of choice is coffee. Ground coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I buy my bag at Walmart every Sunday morning, as I said many other times. I go there to buy my coffee and grab a skein of yarn. So, I know every single thing that's in that aisle. And 99% of the time, I come out of that aisle with a skein that I already have at home. But it's an addiction. I mean, I'm a true yarn addict by every meaning of the word. I have a lot of yarn. I never have enough. I mean, it's constantly growing, but that's okay. We love that for me. I mean, what kind of yarn channel would I be if I didn't have yarn? So I have yarn. I have lots of it. So that's a thing. But I've mentioned several times on my Facebook Lives that yarn buying is a hobby all in its own. And I'm also that. I love buying yarn. I love shopping for it. I love looking at the similarities and differences between the weight classes, the types of yarns, the colorways, all of the characteristics between all of the different styles. I love all of that. So, yarn buyer, love buying yarn. But I also love the art of crochet. I love learning about knitting. I enjoy working with Tunisian crochet. I have not featured that at all on my channel. I believe one thing at a time. I'm still a new channel. But for now, crochet is the thing. And knitting is the thing I'm learning. So I'm actively learning knitting. It's an incredible journey so far. It's a bumpy one, but it's incredible. I have literally all the resources at my fingertips. It's just a matter of connecting those dots with knitting. But crochet is the thing here. So anyway, I say all of that to say, I have a link on my channel. It's buymeacoffee.com. If you're ever interested in fueling my caffeine addiction, please go ahead and get me a cup of coffee. You get to leave a comment that I in turn read on the channel to share with all of the viewers in the YouTube kingdom and YouTube streets and things like that. So, yes, I also say that whatever is given to me also fuels the giveaways for Sundays. So I go live every Sunday at 6 p.m. It's a thing that I do. I've been doing it now. And so, yeah, anything given to me, I buy coffee, I buy stuff for giveaways, and that's exactly what it's for. And so, yeah, I have comments here, and I've been trying to play catch up now for about a week. And so I'm just going to continue reading 3 to 4 comments each time in hopes that I will eventually catch up. So if you've left me coffee and a comment, I will eventually get to you, I promise. Okay? So, today's comments, let's see. The first one here comes to us from Ruby. So Ruby says, Crystal says nice things about you, so I thought I would check you out. Have a cup of coffee on me. Enjoy. So, thank you, Ruby. I'm glad to hear that Crystal says nice things about me. I say good things about her. And if any of you are not sure as to who she's referring to, it's Crystal over at Bag A Day Crochet. So, she's wonderful. We all love her. So, that's so good to know that she says good things about me. That's amazing. So, thank you again, Ruby, for the nice comment. So, the next comment here comes to us from Lorna. So, Lorna says, hey, Juan, so glad I found your channel. Thanks for sharing all the things with us. Enjoy your coffee. So, thank you. I'm glad I get to share things with you guys. That's kind of why I'm here. I love doing this, by the way. The more I'm in front of this camera, the more comfortable I'm getting, and It shows. Go look at my earlier videos and look at this one. Night and day difference, I promise. So anyway, let's see. The third comment that I have for today, I'm going to do 4 today. So the third comment here is from Diane S. So Diane says, Juan, you have success written all over you and your channel. I believe it's because you truly have all the things. Great personality and content, excellent teaching skills and ideas, and an understanding of the range of skills and resources of your audience. Blessings to you and your mom. This is such a nice comment. I mean, this comment says a lot of things, and it means a lot, because the part that I don't share with the audience, with those who watch me, is that before I put the camera in front of me, before I started my channel, I did a lot of research. I brushed up on public speaking. I brushed up on a lot of things before I sat in front of this camera. Like, who is my audience? Who am I? I need to know who I am before I present myself. So I spent a lot of time really gathering information, and then when D-Day came, where I had to sit in front of the camera, I was a nervous wreck. If you watched my welcome to my channel video, I mean, I was a disaster. But that had to be done, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here right now. And granted, it's only a few months away, but it just goes to show that, you only get what you put into it. So I've been putting my heart and soul into this channel. When I'm not at my day job, I'm doing this. And, that's how much I care about my audience. That's how much I care about the work that I'm putting into this channel. And I want to be successful, and I want to be a resource for many people out there. So I'm thankful that you see that. And I know that you're not the only one that sees this, Diane, because I do get this type of feedback all the time. So, yeah, this touched a spot with me that just leaves me super happy that you identified that. So thank you so much, Diane. And thank you to all of you guys out there that, excuse me, that also recognize that as well. Like, I'm working really hard to bring you guys great content, and I'm glad that you guys are seeing that. So thank you. Okay. So, the last one for today comes to us from someone. So, as I mentioned before, you have the option of being anonymous. So, when you are anonymous, it gets labeled as someone. So, someone says, I love your shows. It empowers me to be proud as a guy that loves to crochet. Not to mention, I'm a yarn addict as well. You enabled me to buy loops and threads from Michaels. So, listen. This is one of the best comments too. Like, when I reach out to the male demographic, when I reach out to the guys who crochet and they think enough of me to leave comments, let alone buy me a cup of coffee, I think that's awesome. Like, I want to open doors for dudes. I want them to be able to come in, grab a hook, grab a skein, and make something. And it's working. Because, I mean, not saying that I'm the one that's doing it, but seeing me on a YouTube channel is getting more people to be like, okay, this is cool. Like, he's doing it, so why can't I? So I'm loving that for me, for us, for all the people. So, yeah. Thank you, someone. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for the comment. It's a very feel-good moment. So, yeah. So that, my friends, wraps up our coffee talk for today's podcast. Okay? So, let's talk new yarns, right? So I go to Michael's at least 3 times a week, right? It's right down the road from where I work. And mind you, there are 3 of them in my immediate area. So when one store doesn't have one thing, I go right to the next one to see if they have it, and vice versa, so on and so forth, right? That's the nice part about where I live. I'm central to like 5 states. And so those other states are literally minutes away. So anyway, long story short, I went shopping the other day and I picked up some new yarns. I showed it on the channel, but I want to share it again. Because I went to Michael's today And I bought new yarns that I didn't see the last time that I was there. And I said, well, wait a minute. I'm going to share the other yarn that I shared the other day just in case people missed it. And so we have two sets of yarns to share with you guys today. And first I'm going to share with you guys what I've shared the other day, which is the Loops and Threads Carousel Twist. Okay. I saw Nancy over at She's Got Yarn. She was in Michael's the other day with Lynn Ann from Nina's Knots. And I was watching them do all the things. And so, yeah, she saw this on an end stand and she was talking about it. And I was pointing at the screen. I'm like, I have that one. And of course, she couldn't hear me, but I'm going to do a one for you and a one for me. So, first of all, before I read anything, look at the twist, okay? You have white, you have a powder blue, you have like a royal blue, you have lime, aqua. Look at it all. Isn't that beautiful? Come on, it's amazing. Anyway, the colorway here is called Castle. In French, Chateau. So it's got English and French for some reason. So anyway, this is a bulky 5. The recommended hook size is a 5.5, otherwise known as a USI. It's 100% acrylic. It's 213 yards. Let me twist this around. 213 yards. It's 5.3 ounces, 195 meters, 150 grams. Super nice. And because one of my viewers asked, they wanted to see the label. That's the label. So you can screenshot that and go find it if you're interested. Carousel Twist. And it's all the things. Okay? So, yeah. I got 4 skeins of this. Alright? And it's a bulky 5, but it's only 213 yards. Right? 213 yards is not a lot for the recommended hook size, because the smaller you go with your hook, the more yarn it requires for the project. So, think about Red Heart Super Saver. It's 300 and some odd yards, right? And, they also recommend a US I9. And so does this, but this is only 213 yards. So, in all actuality, granted, this is a little thicker, but just hear me out. 2 of these is a little more than one of the Red Heart Super Savers. So if I'm going to make like a sweater, and let's just say for a sweater, I'm going to need, 6 skeins of Red Heart Super Saver. I might need like 10 or 11 of these to equal out the yardage, because again, it's 213 yards. So just keep that in mind when you think about buying this. Right now, as of the date of this video, which I believe today is January the 12th or 13th, regardless, the same sale is still on both of those days. It's 30% off all regular items, which includes this. So in the US, the price for this is $7.99. 30% off of that is what the sale is right now. If you're in Canada, it's $9.99, and I'm not sure what the sale is in Canada. It might be still 30% off. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but Canadian price for this is $9.99. Okay? So anyway, the thought behind that is I want to make a sweater with that. There is a pattern that was recently shared with my Facebook group. Super awesome. I'll update you guys when and if I get started on that, but that's the plan for that yarn, okay? So, let me take another sip of my coffee. 1 second. Delicious. Okay. The next yarn is the yarn that I got today. I didn't see this yarn the last time I was there, so they had just put this out, and it is super soft. Again, I saw Nancy and Lynn Ann play with this yarn. They were talking about it, and I said, I haven't seen that. I need to go to Michael's and touch all of that. And so on the softness scale from 1 to 5, I'm going to give this a 4. It's super soft. Okay. Love the softness. But then again, I mean, I have calluses on my hands, so my hands aren't as sensitive as everyone else's. But for me, it's soft. Okay. I'm going to do a one for me and a one for you. Look how nice that is wound. You can see all the way in there. That's so nice. And here's the other side. Super nice. Okay, so the name of this is called Ombre Hues. I'll show you the front. See, Ombre Hues. Okay, so let me just show you the side so you can stare at the yarn while I tell you all the things. Okay, so there's that. Let me get my face out of the way. Okay, so this, my friends, is 426 yards. It's 390 meters. It's 5.29 ounces at 150 grams. It is a light 3-weight yarn, and the recommended hook size is a 4mm crochet hook, otherwise known as a US letter G. It's 75% polyester and 25% acrylic. Again, the colorway is called, I already said it, I'm sorry, I forgot what it was. Oh no, maybe I didn't say it, sorry. Slate Gray White. That's the colorway. Slate Gray White. Slashes in between those words. Anyway, I got 4 of them. So again, these yarns here, the US price is $7.99, and in Canada it's $9.99 Canadian. I got these on sale for 30% off. Super nice. So anyway, the plans for this is a rectangular shawl. I get literally, 20 to 30 emails, comments. Can you please do a rectangular shawl? Sure. So it was just a matter of finding the right yarns, because, you can literally make whatever you want with any yarn, but sometimes you have to wait for the right yarn to come along to create something. So of course I could pull one of my Stanley cakes and make a rectangular scarf or whatever, but I wanted to make sure that the yarn I chose was a yarn that everyone had access to. So $7.99, 30% off. It's a great deal. More people can get their hands on this than a Stanley cake. So I'm going to create the shawl with this. So stay tuned for that. I do have the pattern already written up. I'm actually going to make this, and then once it's completed, then I'll do a tutorial for it and share all of that with you guys. So finally, the whole handful of you guys that have been asking me for this, you finally get your rectangular scarf or your prayer shawl, whatever you want to call it. That's what this is going to be. Okay? So that is literally the new yarns that I have to share with you guys. See? Short, sweet, and simple. Okay? I do want to add very quickly, though, Michaels does have the coconut cakes on their end stands, and it is a new yarn, and I do have quite a bit here. This particular one here is called Marshmallow. I've shown this on my channel already. I have several of these. Sharing this with you because I've considered making a rectangular scarf with this. I still may, I'm not exactly sure, but when I do, I'm going to use a different pattern for this than this. Okay? And I do have another colorway here of the coconut cake. It's this one here. It's called Cookie Cream. They even showcase a rectangular scarf on the label there. The only thing that doesn't have me running to make it is the fact that it's solid. There's, apart from the ribbing, you see there's ribbing on there. I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but there's ribbing on there. Apart from that, there's really nothing to it. So in my opinion, it's blah. Like, I want texture. I want to be able to look at it and be like, okay, I see where they were going with that. That doesn't give me that. So I'm not inspired to make that. I'd rather pick up a stitch and do things to the stitches and make it look like, wow, okay, that's something to look at. So Stay tuned for that, my friends. Okay? So let me go ahead and place you guys on a brief hold. I'm going to clear the table, move the yarns, and then we'll get to the Happy Meal. So give me 1 second. Okay, friends, so here we are. So I have Happy Meal here, just two that I want to share with you guys, and then I want to do some project updates surrounding my crochet along. Okay, so let's get into this first one here. This first one comes to us from Janet D. So Janet D is a viewer of my channel, and yes, she comments on my videos, and I read them all. I'm very interactive with my viewers. So if you're leaving comments, I read them. So if you're ever looking at the comments, you'll see me all in those comments. And I noticed that she's in the comments. She says great things about my channel. Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you for the Happy Meal. I'm just opening it now. Let's see. Guys, it's a furls hook. Janet, you didn't have to do this. Look at this. Wow. Janet, you must have heard me mention that I needed the J hook. Now my good friend Mishi mentioned that she was sending one to me. Wow. Okay. Well, listen, I'm here for it. Thank you so much, Janet. This is so cool. Thank you. And you got the letter J. This was a while ago, though. I mentioned that I was looking for a letter J a while ago. And in all fairness, this has been sitting here for a while. I just didn't know what it was, this box. It was just a box here. So, when did this come? This came a little while ago. It was the first week of January, so last week sometime it got here. Wow. Thank you so much, Janet. I really appreciate that. So yes, my good friend Mishi has me hooked on these furl hooks. She sent me one, and I've been using it religiously, and she has me swayed the other way because when I first did a review on my furls hook, I said I'm really not into it. It was a resin hook, and she said, but hold on, you have to try this one. So she sent me a 5.5 millimeter furls hook, and I used it, and night and day difference. Night and day difference. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is amazing. And I put it up there right next to my Hero hooks. That's how nice I like working with them. But at any rate, I was looking for a letter J. I was doing eBay and looking and being outbid all the time. And so I made mention of that, and my good friend Mishi was like, don't worry, Juan, I got you. So I think maybe Janet heard me. I guess she picked that up in one of my videos and just sent me this. So thank you so much, Janet. Super excited about that. Okay, so this next one here, it's heavy. I don't know what's in here, but it's heavy. It's solid. This one here comes to us from a good friend of the channel, good friend of mine. Her name is Margaret. Margaret S. was the person who gave this project its name. This here is the Crown Jewels scarf, and I do have a matching beanie to go with that. I put it out there on the YouTube streets. Anybody who's willing to help me figure out a name for this, I would greatly appreciate it. I would give you a shout out and all the things. And so she was the one who did that, and yes, so I've given her credit. I've thanked her, and you know, ever since then, you know, we just kept in touch. And so she's a good friend to the channel and to me. So thank you for the Happy Meal. I don't know what's in here, but it is heavy, Margaret. It's heavy. So let's go ahead and open this up. And by the way, you taped it very well. We love a good tape job. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, well, it was packed tight. Because look, it's now wanting to bust open. I have no idea what's in here. Wow. Okay. So I have a card. Let's see. Oh, this is so cool. Look, it says, apparently cards are like a thing now. Well, they kind of like are. And look at you getting one from like me. For that, I love that for you. This is such a vibe. Margaret, you're amazing. Your crocheting friend, Margaret. So, yes, I love the card. It's so cool. And, oh my God, a handwritten letter. And you have some amazing handwriting. Oh my stars. Wow. This is so cool. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just reading this. Okay. I got to come back to that because she wrote me a letter, and I'm enjoying that. So I want to read that. So, oh wow, look at this. So there's this book. Sorry about the pause. I mean, I got into the letter for a second. Isn't that cool? I love that. Okay. And the yarn, guys. I'm not even going to touch it. Look at that. I've never worked with this yarn, guys. Bernat Crushed Velvet. Let's do a thing, guys. Hold on. It's a one for me and a one for you and all the things. Hold on. It feels so good and squishy. Okay, anyway. Okay, so this is called Bernat Crushed Velvet. Okay. And so, let's see. It is 10.5 ounces, 300 grams. It's 315 yards, 288 meters. As I said, it's crushed velvet. The colorway is called Potent Purple. The recommended hook size is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, otherwise known as a US I9, and it is a bulky 5. 100% polyester. Isn't that amazing? And Margaret sent 4 of them to me. And she smushed them in that box. She was like, they are going. Okay, so now I'm looking at more yarn here. We have 4 skeins of this puzzle-esque type yarn. Love that. So let me put these down right there. Okay, so I'm going to do a one for you and a one for me. This is a new to me yarn. I've never seen this before, a day in my life. So this is called Plymouth Encore Color Spun Knitting Worsted Weight. 75% acrylic, 25% wool. That's what the label looks like. Plymouth Encore Color Spun. Okay. So it's made in Turkey. It's 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, 200 yards. Okay. And let's see. There is no particular name for the colorway. They do have a number for the colorway, which is 7991. And yeah. Let's see, what else do they have here? The recommended hook size is a 5 millimeter crochet hook, otherwise known as a US letter H, and machine wash and dry. So it's definitely able to be washed and dried, which is amazing. We love that for us. And there's 4 skeins of that yummy yarn situation. Okay. And look at this. Knitting needles. I literally have all of the knitting needles now. I have all the knitting needles. I'm learning about the sizes and the numbers and all the things and the differences between the lengths and the thicknesses. And I do see an Afghan hook here. Double-ended. Love that. This is my first wooden Afghan hook. Nowadays they're calling it a Tunisian crochet hook, but I was raised calling this an Afghan hook. To stay current with the trends, I will call it what everyone else calls it, a Tunisian crochet hook. And let's see, we have some Clover Takumis, number 10 millimeters, 10 millimeter needles here. Still learning the proper way to say all the things. And then here we have 4 millimeter inox needles. So I'm just pulling the ones that stand out as different. The rest of these are boy hooks of various sizes and things. It's literally all the things. By the way I do my needles and my hooks and things, when I'm gifted needles and hooks, what I do is I bind them together like this, and then I put the person's name with my needles, so I never forget who gave me what. So even if you tell me to, if you send it to me like privately and you tell me not to showcase on the channel, I still will put your name next to or inside, so I don't ever forget who sent me what. So just know that if you ever send me something, even if it's like in secret, I do keep your name next to it, because I never want to ever forget who thought enough of me to send me something. And so next, here we have some vintage crochet books and things. So, wow. This first one here, look at this. Gifts. Wow. Price 10 cents. Copyright 1945. In a couple years, this will be 80 years old. For sure, I will be going through this. It's teaching the doilies, and I mean, geez, look at the photographs. I mean, clearly this is a snapshot of history. Look at this. Giving Audrey Hepburn. This is crazy. Thank you so much, Margaret. I love vintage. I have a whole thing right here of vintage things that I'm collecting. This next one here is knit Afghans. Whenever I'm good enough to get to this level, I definitely will take it to that place. It looks fairly simple. It's literally just like a cover, which is great. Maybe it's just like, here's the pattern, and then repeat it until it's done. What's the copyright on this? Let's see. 1992. Okay. A little while ago. I was a teenager. So there's that. And last but not least, I have a book here, The Perfect Finish, a no-nonsense guide to finishing techniques for knitters of every level. And this is cool. The inside is spiral bound. This is so cool. And when is the date here? 2010. So cool. Love that. Listen, I am stacking up on my resources. I read all the time, so that is amazing. I'm actually putting it with my other knitting things. So thank you so much, Margaret. I love all the things you sent me. And I can't wait to start working with this Bernat Crushed Velvet. It is very bold and in-your-face purple. It's all the things. Love that. Okay. So let me clear the table. I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so I am back. And this last part of our podcast today is literally talking about our crochet along. So just a quick recap, if this is the first time that you're hearing about it, on my channel, I launched a winter stitch mystery crochet along. There's 2 parts to it. You can choose to do part 1 or part 2. It's not labeled part 1 or part 2, but the first side of it is squares. So what we're doing is we're making squares like this. I'm spinning a wheel, we're coming up with the stitches, and then we have 2 different stitches per week, and within that week you need to come up with 4 squares. So you can do 3 of this and just 1 of these, or you can do 2 and 2, however you want to do that. But at the end of each week we're coming up with 4 squares but only 2 patterns. Okay, so that's the first part, right? And then at the end of 6 weeks we're going to join it all together and finish up our blanket. Now I would say let's go ahead and join as we go, but the thing is we don't know what the other stitches are going to be. That's part of the mystery here. So we're doing a crochet along, but we don't know what the finished product is going to look like. The wheel tells us what our stitches are, so week to week we find out what it is and then we make it. Okay, the goal here is to have equal size squares. Now everyone's tension is different, so when you do your square, if it's more than 10 inches, that's fine. If it's less than 10 inches, that's fine too. Just make sure that it's square. Okay, the other thing too is make sure that the amount of stitches that you have on the top and bottom is the same as what you have on the side. Now your rows may be different, and that's okay. You're going to have to insert your crochet hook as many times as you need to get the sides to all have the same number. Okay, that way when we go to join it, it's going to make sense. See? So there's that. But let's just take it 1 week at a time. Week 1, we had the iris stitch. Okay, am I even holding it right? It's held like this. Okay, that's the iris stitch. And then this here we wound up with front post double crochets, but who wants a square with just front post double crochets? So what I did was I did front post double crochets in every 5th stitch, and then when you go to turn it around, every 5th stitch. So therefore you have texture on both sides. Okay, so that was part 1, well, week 1 of part 1. Okay, now come Tuesday we're going to do week 2. We're going to spin the wheel, we're going to get 2 more stitches, we're going to work them up in tutorials so you guys can see how that is worked up, and then you take it from there. At the end of the week you should have 4 squares of your choosing of the 2 patterns. Okay, so the other side of our crochet along is for those who really don't want to deal with the squares. I have a blanket. So this centerpiece is a centerpiece that I created for myself. That's what I wanted us to have as our centerpiece. And then I spun the wheel for 1 extra stitch, which we got windows. So I did just a couple rows of windows here. And then I ended week 1 with a solid border here, because again, we don't know what stitch we're going to get next week. So just to prepare for that, we're starting off on solid ground. Okay, so some of the questions that I got about this is, some of the sides don't match, count-wise. So first and foremost, I don't know if you can see this here, but when I go in the round, I go into the chain space with 1, I chain 2, I go into the chain space with 1. See that right there, like this? But to go further in the row here, this first stitch needs a neighbor. So I go into that one, so it looks like there's 2 in the corner, but it really isn't. That second one is actually in the stitch. So, you know, it's a misconception. You see that? So it's just to make sure that, you know, everything is even. And if you miss that early on, it will translate up. What I say to those who have sides that are not even, don't worry about it. Like, just keep going. It's not going to mess anything up. This is a crochet along for crocheters of all levels, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Just enjoy the process. Like, don't stress out about it. It's going to look good, you know? If you're short 1 or if you're short 2, it's fine. You know what I mean? Just have fun. That's the whole point of it. No stress. Just enjoy it and have a good time. Okay? So on Tuesday, we're going to spin the wheel. We're going to go do all the things, and we'll have 2 stitches, and then we're going to crochet those stitches up together and go from there. Okay? So be on the lookout for those videos on Tuesday. And yeah, so that covers the updates with the crochet along. Okay? So that is all I have for today's video, my friends. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And then last but not least, hit the notification buttons to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. So, until the next one, guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.